Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon there, good morning here. I'm presenting my topic. It's the first time I participate in these kind of events. I've been interested in metal, but especially from the area of onomastics, which is the study of name. That's why I'm going to focus on this. I have heard some of the presentations previously referring to the name as a good element to express ideology and many other aspects. And so I'm going to talk about these confrontations. I'm going to give a summary of my presentation. So the idea of this of transgression in metal means breaking the limits and reinforced not only by scenarios, lyrics, contents, but also by naming the band. And the name of the band is the first aspect of ideology held by the band and as an act of confrontation. So names of bands such as Rotting Christ or Christ Killer, Impaled Nazarene reveal this open confrontation to the Catholic religions and the mythology and ideology, and also references to taboo concepts, demon legends like Cyclone B, Holocaust, Mephistopheles. And based on this concept and literary onomastic perspective, I want to provide an insight of naming a band as an act of transgression. Okay, so I would like to contribute to the both areas, metal studies and also onomastics. Okay, so let's define the main concept. So we talk about transgression. So the dictionaries define it as the act or the process of transgressing, the infringement of violation of law, command, or duty, which means unconformity. But also, as Eckerstrom defines, challenging or violating the limits set by a law, divine rules, or social norms. The second one is our interest today. And also the word confrontation. So again, the Merriam-Webster's define as the state of being confronted, bringing face to face an accused person and his accused witnesses, but also the ones that we are interested in is the clash of forces or ideas. And of course, ideology. That's the three concepts. Nature of ideas, scheme, coordinated body of ideas or concepts, especially about human life or culture, in a manner of thinking characteristic of an individual, group, or culture. But this one, integrated assertions, theories, and aims that constitute a sociopolitical program. And finally, the extremist sociopolitical program or philosophy constructed wholly or in part on factitious or hypothetical ideational basis. So what is the foundation of these studies I am interested in? First of all, the world of music, it's a commercial one. It's a commercial. So we always, when we name the band, it has a commercial purpose. The names of music are linked to a group of factors aiming at reaching the commercial objectives. So they must be apt, unforgettable, compelling, informative, historical, funny, and ambiguous. So it leads to discussion, the name. So the function of the name is to attract the consumers of popular music and art music, and becomes what you say is the cultural capital or a creative economy. So according to Hongisto and Siobhan, a very recommended article, it's the tendencies in nomenclature. Okay, so according to these authors, they make an analysis of performer names, and so we can see how bands name themselves by using, well, they have classified into different genres. So rock, they use normally metonymy, like the guitar slingers, metaphors, like corrosion of conformity, and some of them are completely meaningless. In heavy music, they seem to be more concrete, as in the previous presentation I noticed, well, I heard that there is a kind of obsession with the devil or God. And so this means only two things. they are believers or they are non-believers, because there are the two concepts there. And so in the heavy music, there's metaphor like Nightwish or Rainbow, and they are more connected to myth, gods, fairy tales, and religion. And I would add literary and historical reference, like the ones we saw previously in the morning, related to literature influence, well, influenced by the literature of Tolkien. If you compare with other genres like blues and soul, they normally use the name of the performer, or in techno or in classical music like London Symphonic Orchestra. And when we talk about the band, we also have other layers of studying, like the compositional names and the album names, which, as I told you, they pursue commerciality. So the name of the band needs to be effective to be in the mind of the listeners. Okay, so inside the field of music, there is a myriad of different name classes, because we can name tours, we can name instruments, we can name concert halls. There's even the case of people who give a name to their amplifiers and or their instruments. Okay, we can have performer names, composition names, and album names. And this idea of naming something is studied by onomastics, specifically in an area of onomastics, which is the scientific study of names, but it has a branch, which is chrematonymy. Chrematonymy, which is the study of proper names, social events, institution, organization, but also applies to all names which are different from person or place name. So, which means objects, stars, I don't know, cars, concerts, buildings, etc. So in this idea, there is also in chrematonymy, according to Galkovsky, there is a concept referring to ideology. So when we have an ideology, they are called ideonyms, because a band holds an ideology. And so the function of names could be informative, could be practical, integrative, and social, and also personifying. Look at this. So the informative, the band reveals the genre in itself. Practical needs to be concise, and of course, this to remember. And an integrative and social, it's referring to the genre, the context, ideology, like this one's criticizing um, these biological weapons like napalm death, Cyclone B, Impale Nazarene. So it's confronting this. And sometimes the personifying functions, which refers to the identity, and normally it's because the performers want to uh, transform their name into give their names a commercial value. And I have these examples like Alice Cooper, Ingrid Mastin, It's Really, and so on. So when we connect this ideology and heavy metal music names, there is an act of confrontations. Okay, according to Eckerstrom, it's going to hold these four concepts: confrontation, transgression, blasphemy, and apostasy. And we will see that even these names are used as a tool of resistance, yeah, as Eckerstrom mentions. Okay, so according to her, transgression means challenging the sets by law, divine rules, or social norms, but also breaking the limits seems to be an antithesis of the norm. So if there's something I have to respect, I have to do something or have to name as an impulse to disobey. Well, according to Reyes, an article also recommended, when we study the band, when we study music, heavy metal music, they are textual products, and they need to be analyzed at those in high culture, based specifically on theories of literary studies, like the reading layers, like because we can find these patterns of reading and interpreting, and this would be this one. The example that Fayez provides studying the Hungarian folk metal Darriada, there are three layers: the band name and the concept of albums, the relation towards the mother tongue, and also national history and heritage. So what they could transmit. So we are going to focus only in the first layer, the band's name, not even mentioning the concept of album titles, which would be an extensive research. Thus, now connecting this, there is a correlation between the limit and the transgressive act as a defiance, and it's already foreseen in a request to conform and the ideonym. Okay, so we can connect. So what we did in this study, what we are doing, because I must confess that it's not already finished. I'm showing some preliminaries. And first of all, I decided to look them up on darklyrics.com, the bands which are listed there. Why? Because the number of bands is uh, astronomically minor than the ones that we can find in Metal Encyclopedia. And also because we can have access to the three layers: the name of the band, the albums, and also to the lyrics. In Metal Archives, there are more than 160,000 names, so it would be impossible to classify them. So what we did was to classify them into simple names, compound names, the source, if it's literary, historical, mythological, etc. But I'm focusing right now in the confrontation, if it's political, historical, cultural, or if it's religious. And these are some results so far. The revolted masses, atomic factory. Look at this, how they confront the political aspects, like revolution, making reference to the nuclear, especially atomic and nuclear policies in the for the nuclear empires. Okay, but there is also the social historical confrontation. So the uses of specific objects like Cyclone B, April 16, this Mexican band named Malinche, which confronts with the idea of the conquistadors or the conquerors, the Spanish conquistadors in Mexico, ritual suicidal, talking about a kind of taboo topic, burning witches, and so on. It's curious, the case of April the 16th. We refer to the specific date, to the moment when the Jewish, in the year 66 AD, committed suicide. It was a collective suicide when the Romans attacked Masala in Palestine. And so it is making reference to this. Also, there is a reference by confronting by scatology. Like you can see these ones, and blasphemy, cannibal corpse, bomb expel, necrophilia, referring to something that causes repulsion in the listeners. But we are interested in this one. This is a general aspect of religious confrontation. Look at this one, how they use concepts that are normally satanized by religious, like monarchy and demonium. So we can see here demons, vaginal Jesus, velvet acid Christ. How in the first layer they are confronting. So it would be interesting to go further and see what their lyrics say and how they really confront these aspects. So we have all examples like routing cries, satanic pest, and so on, which will be the sub themes of religious confrontation. I have classified this into biblical mythology because they refer to angels, to the martyrs, and to the people. So actually, they're referring to people. It would be anthroponymy, referring to people. Angeli di Petra, Angel Sum, Apocalypse, which is a fact occurring in the biblical mythology. And well, when we refer to demonology, as in the previous presentation, they are obsessed, or they will be that they are obsessed. I wouldn't say that. In terms of names, I wouldn't say that, because there are not many. They are there is a rich variety of names, but I would emphasize this one: awakened demons, active demons, abydos. Well, in order, and I decided to put this at the gates because it's a metaphorical reference to hell, using the name of God. It's confronting the first um, in the well, I forgot the word. the well the laws of God, the 10 laws of God. I can't remember the word, but the first law, you don't have to use the name of God without a purpose. So using these ones, it's an act of confronting, I would say that. Also, paganism, as one of the presentations as well was mentioning, which is inspired especially into Nordic or other religions, pantheon like we can have in here. All pigs must die, making reference to in Spanish, as we know, pigs, we're referring to Jewish, ancient rites, Anubis Gay, Astaroth, so Brujeria, the Mexican band, as they are referring to pagan concepts. And this is a religious lexicon, so this would be words used by religion that we normally find in the religious context, in the religious discourse, like words like apostasy, apostates, omens, bishops, blasphemy, sin, author would be other words, author. And well, from this we can go further into to deepen these kind of studies, because we can check some other aspects of confrontations, the visual thing, the lyrics, the ideology, the topics they are revealing. Okay, so we can have here some content, some pictures as how they defy the norm and the rule and the ideology. Okay, so to close, there are some preliminary findings. This semantically connotated negativity, that's an interesting aspect in which we can study the negative and the negative adjectives, verbs, and nouns, which is a rich source of linguistic studies. The name as the first layer of confrontations, the underlying ideologies that could be further in the lyrics, and that religious confrontation can be classified according to cultural, ideological, iconographic, and linguistic layers, which is just the beginning of a project that I would like to extend more. And what comes next? Of course, revision of the whole database. So we only were able to check from A to J, which were about 4,000 names, to delve upon the taxonomy of names to classify them into the onomastic terminology. And also, there would be a great idea to study the speakability of names, because some of them are result to be unpronounceable, difficult to pronounce. So it would be interesting to find out why, maybe to interview the musicians, and so to find out this. Okay, well, so far this is what I can present. It's the first time I present something in an event like this. I'm interested in the topic, but this is so far. Thank you very much for your attention. That will be all for me.
Thank you very much.